Hi guys, I've had another idea for a potential game for this jam that I'm interested in entering. So in my last video I talked about the first prototype which I came up with, which was a kind of a monster cafe, but there were two main problems with it. One was that I just couldn't figure out mechanics that would be sort of meaningful to the game, and the second thing was that it just didn't feel very uplifting. But there are a couple of things that I did like. The fact that it was kind of like cakes versus monsters in some way, I kind of want to keep that. There's something about the whole dessert thing that I don't know why I'm so obsessed with it. That's kind of what I want to have. And also the fact that this game wasn't like an arcade game. It's not like a Twitch based game. It's a kind of a mouse based game, which I prefer. So I want to keep on with that sort of idea, that sort of genre of game, but not a cafe. So I had another idea, which was doing some kind of card game. So obviously there are many, many different types of card games, but I've got two problems with this idea. One is that I don't really know how to make one, but I can probably figure it out. The second problem is that I've never actually played one, which is actually quite bizarre because those are the sorts of games I've had on my radar for years, but I've just never got round to playing them. I play a lot of sort of strategy games and I play like story games, RPGs and stuff, but I've never actually played any of these card games. I don't really know why. But I had a look in my Steam library and I found that I actually had quite a few. So I had a couple of kind of proper commercial games and I also found some free games, which some of which were surprisingly good. And so I spent a few hours over the last couple of nights just sort of like playing these games, having a little feel for them, and trying to get trying to basically brainstorm some ideas. So I'll show you what I've come up with so far. So this is what I've kind of come up with so far. This card thing I actually got from a tutorial. I think it looks quite cool. It's a tutorial kind of doing a Slay the Spire type thing. And what I thought of is that you've got this kind of party of sheep, because that's kind of all I could find. And these are the monsters are now the like the enemy that you're fighting. And I came up with this kind of silly Lord of the Rings based theme where you've got Lamdalf, Woolagorn and Ramalas. These are like your heroes, and then the cards they've got, I've just put in some dummy cards, but these would be like the cake type cards, and I've got loads of those. I've got about 15 different cakes in different varieties that I could use, and so you could be like playing cake cards against the various kinds of Halloween monsters. So at this point I think I could make something like this, but I'm still not sure. The problem is, again, it's not really fitting the uplifting theme. This is kind of a classic good versus evil, and it's kind of silly and light-hearted, so it'd probably be quite amusing, or maybe it's just me that finds that kind of thing amusing. I don't know, but it's not uplifting. It doesn't, other than the silliness of it, but then that's more silly. That's not uplifting. It doesn't. If I think back towards the original specifications of the Jam, you know, a game that inspires like joy and peace and, you know, feels like a warm hug, I think it said. That's not what this would be. So I kind of like it, and I feel like it's a better fit than the Monster Cafe idea, but it's still not there. So I'm back to the drawing board again, and at this point I'm starting to feel like I don't actually think I can do anything, because I've only got, there's a few days left, and the problem is I'm working nearly all of them. Other than today, and it's already like 12 o'clock. I've got the rest of the day, and then I've got one day off on Thursday, and that's pretty much it. My other days I'm working, which I don't get much done. So I don't think I'm going to be able to enter this jam at all. But I thought I'd put this out there. It's quite fun playing around with ideas and doing these prototypes. And one of the things that I mentioned on my previous video is that I struggle to kind of let stuff go, but luckily this was something that I knocked up fairly quickly, and I think this is something that I need to get used to as someone that wants to make games. I can't expect to just come up with an idea and it will just be perfect and run with it. I think I need to accept the fact that sometimes you just have to play around with ideas. You have to spend some time brainstorming and prototyping and then just be willing to just throw it away because it doesn't work, because if I decide to go ahead and try and make a game that isn't really working, I'm going to spend days, weeks, maybe even more, pushing against something which isn't working. And I don't want to do that. So I'd rather quit at the prototyping phase. So yeah, so this is another one that I'm going to abandon. And again, I don't know if I'll have anything else to put out there. We'll see. All right, that's all I've got for this video. Thanks very much for watching, guys.